Yo, so this is the first time I've ever done this, but I'm gonna do a contest inside of this video. Every time you see the Powell Ripper, count how many times you see him. At the end of the video, comment, and whoever gets closest or whoever guesses the right number of how many times you actually see this logo, I'm gonna send you guys a package from Powell. So, hopefully you guys like the video. Thank you George Powell and everyone at Skate One for the tour. It was a really cool, fun time for me. And yeah, good luck on trying to win some gear, guys. All right, DeVille, what's going down, man?
Well, I'm super excited that we're gonna get this tour from George because I've never had it from George before. I've had it from Michael, but never from George. So we're gonna hear a bunch of different stuff, or you're probably gonna hear everything because he knows everything about this place. So it's gonna be pretty cool.
And we're at Skate One?
Yeah, at Skate One, right in the back. Over here you can see the old ramp. You can see the hub in the background. I haven't used that ramp in a long time, but maybe we can pop it out today.
Sick, thanks DeVille. What's up, dude?
That was pretty good news, but
Let's go. Biggest ski ramps ever.
Good. When we first moved in here in '89, when we remodeled this building, it used to be an out-pitched warehouse. We remodeled the whole thing. We had the whole building, the whole skate center was over here.
Wow.
This was right here.
I had no idea it was this big. Cool.
So standing rolling? Or
Wow.
Put them on the ramp and just let it roll.
okay.
So what we're doing here, this is all storage of veneer. We buy all our veneer from the Great Lakes area because that's where you get the hardest rock maple, where the weather's the coldest, winters are longest. If you buy maple from the south, it's called soft maple. It grows too fast, so the rings are too far apart. It makes it weak. We press wood differently than everybody else do, was to compress the wood as carefully as we could without crushing it. So in order to press at lower pressure and still get a good glue joint, we didn't want to use two hard halves of the mold. So if you have a rigid mold like this aluminum bottom and then an aluminum top, and we press at about 90 psi. As a result, what we do is we don't crush the wood, we just press it against one side. So we have an air bladder on one side.
Oh, this fills with air?
This fills with air.
Oh, whoa.
So this is a polyurethane airbag that we make ourselves.
That's awesome.
We designed and make the whole press ourselves. When we glue the boards together, we put 4 together at a time in each press. We close it up and it sits for about 40 minutes. So we've got a little timer on each press.
That doesn't seem like that long.
It isn't.
Yeah.
You take sheets that are pre-finished on one side. We have a proprietary process that will coat one side of the veneer after we've sanded it. And we'll start with that face down and then we'll add another core ply. And then we'll add a cross ply.
That helps with the strength drastically, right, when you have the cross ply?
If you don't have a cross ply, because the grains all go this way, you can crack the board really easily, especially with a concave, because when you jump on it, it's going to want to go like this, and it'll want to pull the grains apart. Let's see if we can find a stack here. It's like we've machined everything. What good is that? And the boards come out of the mold. They just come out in a little stack of 4. And we stack them up so that as they finish curing, they don't warp. So as the moisture leaves it, the wood glue has water in it. So you have to let the water come back out of the board and equalize.
Yeah.
So when it comes out of the mold, it's strong enough to hold its shape,
Mm-hmm.
but we want it to not warp as it re-equalizes. We want to make sure that we know where those centers are, so the molds have little rivets in them to show you where mark the board where the centers are. So we know the longitudinal center and the center in the middle of the board. We translate that all the way through. When you go to drill a board, if you don't know where exactly the center lines are on a concave board, you're out of luck. Because if you drill it off center after you route it, based on those drill holes, one side will be high and the other low. It becomes a kind of a goofy board, or
Yeah, it starts to get all funky.
yeah, it does. Let's go look at how we sand the boards, because I think we do a really good job sanding, and that's an important part of getting a minimum weight board.
Cool.
Taking the strongest board you can and the lightest is making sure that your outer plies, or the skins of the board, are the strongest plies you can get. And you buy good veneer, it's sorted, pre-sorted for you into skins and core. Core being what goes inside the board. But the grading at the veneer mill isn't always what you want. So we go through it again to make sure that we get no boards that have vertical grain in them.
So like the spots where a knot is a weak point.
It would have been, yes.
Yeah.
So if it has a knot, it'll go, as long as it's solid, it'll go inside the board. If it has no knot holes, but it was near one, and you might get some vertical ply.
Yeah.
This would go inside the board.
Yeah.
Solid, not a problem. It's not going to cause an issue. But you can see, if you look really closely, in areas like this around the knot, that the grain is coming up. It's not just lying flat. And that'll let the board, if there's stress right there, it lets it break easier. So you don't want that on the outside of the board. On the inside, it makes no difference, because it's more in compression. But on the outside, it's in tension or it's in compression.
Yeah.
And those will be failure points. So we're going to get those out of our skins. So that's all resorted here. And then we send it through our sander. We use 3 sanding heads. You can see our sandpaper here. That's pretty good size.
Dang. That's huge.
This is a veneer sander.
Wow.
That lets us sand down to within a thousandth or two. It's pretty accurate if you set it up right. So we'll run it through here. And we do a coarse, a medium, and a fine sand, so that when it comes out, this is what it feels like going in into that fine line of sand. So looks like it might have been a reject, but you can feel the difference. You just feel it.
Pretty rough.
It's rough. The roughness is good for glue. It helps the glue to
seep in there. Yeah.
But this is the skin surface, so feel that.
Oh my God.
It's more like baby skin. Yeah.
Dang.
So
Super smooth.
yeah, makes it really nice. These are ready for drilling, and we have a drill system that we make ourselves. I think everybody has to make their own. You don't go buy skateboard making machines. You buy a lot of little components and you put it together yourself. You better be good at wood shop and metal shop.
That's how the hole's going for the bolts.
These are all molds. These are different shapes. Each one is a different shape for our mechanical routers. Each one's a different sock shape.
You guys have so many different kinds of boards too, so I'm sure there's tons and tons and tons of them.
We have a lot of food.
Scraps.
This is what happens when we route it out. We end up with these. Because they have glue in them, we can't really recycle them, except that there's a few people who make decorative items out of the edges.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who do that now.
Yeah.
It's really popular.
Yeah, make little jewelry pieces or belt buckle.
Rings, yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
It's really cool too, because the art looks really specific to skateboarding.
That's the template that the board follows right there. It'll make, this looks like a cab. Ralph Bones Brigade board.
This follows the lines.
On the inside.
Okay.
It's hollow on the inside.
Okay.
And there's 2 rollers and there's vacuum. It's held down with vacuum. See the black?
Yeah.
You point to it, you have a little black seal. That holds the flank down. And then the router goes around.
It's freaking awesome.
This is it's all computer controlled. We make tooling and we do shapes here that we can't do on this simple router. Some of the new boards have weird giga or sharp inflections or bumps, and you can't get that router bit in there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some really interesting shapes nowadays.
There are. When we start with a board that's routed, it has a square edge.
You can really see it's not nice rounded off yet.
No, it's just square. The router blade cuts it that way, and then when we finish with it, it has to be, this guy is just routed. So we put a radius on one side, step 1, and then step 2 will be to sand it. And we do that with these bag sanders. It's a really great tool. It's 2 aluminum discs with a piece of rubber tubing glued on each one so that it's airtight. And then if you look, you can see the little air valve right here. You fill it with air, and it'll allow you to put as much pressure as you want in here.
Oh, whoa.
So when you put the board in, it doesn't make a flat, it makes a nice curve.
Oh.
Helps you to blend the curves together.
Wow. I never would have thought of that.
And this, the air duct that's collecting all the dust.
Just sucks it all right out.
It's really, if you watch it, you'll see in our B-roll, it's it'll come out like this, all the dust comes off, and it goes.
Wow.
It's pretty impressive.
That's to look pretty rad.
It does. It's really cool. I think it's cool.
I think it's cool too.
It keeps the keeps the air all clean. Where we build all of our pro decks and prototypes. This is like a normal wood shop. It's where anything else we need, cabinets, pro boards, prototypes.
Tinker
furniture.
around in here.
Yeah, you can make anything you want in here.
That's awesome. This area is huge.
This is what 1930s technology looks like. And it's still useful if you don't need to do anything precisely. But the lathe has become a numerically controlled machine center.
Oh, wow.
It changes tools and can do all of your cuts automatically. When we make our molds, we start with something like this. For our wheel molds, we start with these have actually been, we start with something that hasn't been cut yet, but
It's like a good 10 pounds.
5 anyway.
Yeah, that's just pretty sharp.
And then what we want to do is we need to turn it into a mold. So we've got to remove all this material. It has to be polished. And we've got to adjust for shrink. So anyway, we make all these aluminum molds here because aluminum molds are better than urethane molds. They're perfectly round. We don't have to machine or tread. It comes out perfect out of the mold. So because we can do that here, we actually get better wheels. Since we have the best compounds, it makes no sense to put them in crummy molds. So, wow. That's the result of a numerically controlled lathe. So what we're doing in our numerically controlled Bridgeport.
Wow. This is where they make the molds, guys. Look at all that. Is this aluminum?
Yeah.
It smells crazy in here too. That's how they made the Terminator also. Oh my god, look at all that. Wow.
That did these.
Ooh, that is smooth. It's insane.
So there we make prototype trucks, we make molds, we make tooling, whatever we need.
Really amazing technology.
You don't really have the capability to program and utilize these machines. You really can't do your own tooling, which means you have to farm everything out, which means what you get back is as good as they can do or as good as they want to do.
Yeah.
But if it's your tooling, you're going to be using all day long. You're going to work on it until it's perfect.
Perfect. Perfect.
So we're sealing the veneers here. These have been sanded, and then they're going to go through a roll coater that we built ourselves and through a heat drying oven, and then they'll be ready for the next coat. I want to seal the veneer.
really hot in there.
Transfers it. We make these here. I'll show you the silk screen process, but that's for the new Hawk. Old Hawk.
Wow.
Original Hawk. Yeah, we make the screens all from scratch, and the point is to make it as light a screen as you can, because you have to move it by hand. So you can this was a Cab Dragon screen.
Wow.
So we build those, we make the frames. We weld up some aluminum frames, and you can stretch your basic fabric here, glue it onto the frame. Trim it after you're done. This is gluing up right now.
Is this like rubber?
It's sheer.
No, it's polyester screen.
Polyester screen.
And then we'll blow out screens and reuse them. So what happens in the darkroom is they'll take this screen that's like this, and they'll go ahead and coat it with emulsion. It's light sensitive. And then they'll put the film on top of it, and they'll expose it to ultraviolet light, and the ultraviolet light hardens the emulsion everywhere except where the dark part of the film is.
Yeah.
And that masks it.
Mm-hmm.
Then they'll bring it out here and they'll blow it out in this wash station, and the emulsion that didn't get cured washes out very easily.
Oh.
So you're removing the mask everywhere you want the ink to go through.
So many boards.
We've made a couple of decks.
It's funny, the only board I've ever paid full price for was a Powell Steve Caballero in the summer '94. And it'd be so funny if I could find that board in here somewhere, because it probably is somewhere 94? On the wall. Yeah,
it might be.
'94.
Yeah.
So I remember buying it. It was the only one I ever paid full price for, ever, my whole time skating.
It goes in leaps and bounds. Nothing happens for a long time. It's like 7-ply boards, been making them for 35 years. All of a sudden it'll be like a quantum leap. Kind of like wheel technology, you know? Wheels were all the same until we came out with Street Tech formula.
Yeah,
and
that changed everything.
That changed everything, right?
Yep.
So we're working on something now that's pretty exciting. Actually, we're working on softer wheels that will slide like a Street Tech formula, soft slide.
That's so cool.
So you don't have to ride such a hard wheel that's so slow on rough ground.
That sounds really rad.
It's exciting. I'm really excited.
That's really exciting.
I think that may change a lot of skaters' minds about wheels.
I would love to try those out.
I'll send you a set.
Cool. What's he doing right here?
He's got the laser pointed where he wants to line up his graphic, putting the transfer on.
Oh, wow.
So he just needs to
laser precision.
Yeah.
That one got wrinkled. That makes life difficult.
Yeah. So it's just the pressure squeezes it on?
No, it's a heated roller.
Oh.
It's 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
400 degrees?
Yeah, you probably don't want to get your fingers in there.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty warm.
Melted skin right away.
So it melts the ink onto the surface. It will receive the ink and make it let it stick.
Wow. It's got to go through twice?
I think he's not happy with that. He's going to try it again. No, it usually goes through once.
That's how it's done, guys.
It's amazing if the ink comes off completely.
Whoa.
Hold on.
So after he's done, he peels it and it just. Whoa! I didn't know that. I thought he like had to like cut it off or something. Wow. That's so rad.
Yeah, I thought it was ready to blade it off.
That's what I thought too. That's so cool.
Because making a wheel is like making a cupcake. Basically, you have to mix a bunch of ingredients together really carefully, and if you get the ratio wrong, it comes out tasting like crap. So you don't want to do that. Same thing true with a wheel. If you don't get exactly the right amount of each ingredient, and you don't mix it properly, and you don't bake it properly, then it doesn't come out with optimal properties. It's not what you want to eat. So, we try very hard to make great cupcakes here.
Yeah.
And the mixing equipment you use is what gets the ratio right. That's very expensive mixing equipment. And the materials we use are top grade, custom materials you can buy. And then the rest of it's just proprietary knowledge and secrets and experience of making different formulas over time and experimenting with different materials and different combinations and ways to put them together to optimize the properties that you want.
Yeah.
Typically what we want in a wheel is we usually want really high rebound so that it rolls fast, and we want really good abrasion resistance so that it wears a long time.
Yeah.
And good cut and tear and so on. A bunch of mechanical properties that we measure. Making it perfectly is not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah.
And when you look at the machines pouring, what you'll see is that they look very simple. You have fluid coming out of a tube
Yeah.
into a cup. How hard could that be?
Yeah.
But what goes into making that fluid come out of the cup is exactly the right ratio, exactly mixed right,
The chemistry.
and the right temperature
Yeah.
to get the right chemistry, to get it to react properly. That's what's makes it done. We make it look pretty easy, but it's actually not quite as easy as it looks. So after the wheels are cut, we put them in bags, send them out for washing.
Mm-hmm.
They come back, and then they'll come out of the bag, they'll go into a box, and they'll get printed.
Oh. Whoa.
So he's doing a simple print. This is a two-color print for about 100. And then a white underprinter, and then a yellow.
Wow.
He's doing those 100s too.
That's pretty crazy. Cleaned up.
Cleaning up. Shrink wrap them, put labels on them, barcode them in the boxes.
Word.
Street Tech.
Ready to go. Well, thanks so much, George.
You're welcome.
You really helped me a lot. I think the kids are gonna love seeing this. It's
Yeah,
pretty
I hope
crazy.
so.
Yeah. Thanks so much for the tour, dude. It was really wicked cool. Hope I see you around.
Okay,
Thanks, buddy.
don't forget to hook up with the soft sides.
Yes, I'll hit develop for those for sure.